Hello again. Let's do that weekly drawing. Another model we have here, which is the head. We start with the head, then the neck just extends a little bit that way. If the body, a line or a angle this way. Now the upper body, it's a very odd move of the model, but it's beautiful nevertheless. And the body is something like this, and you have the hand which just extends off out of the body that way, and shoulder, hip, bum, and you have the neck, the thigh, this way, thigh, and shin. You have the foot there. Of course, it's not as long as that or big as that. Then you have the shin here and the calf. The other foot there. So based on this structure, I can be a little bit more daring now and commit with more lines, or a little bit stronger lines, not more lines but stronger lines. And you have the shoulder here, which goes then off the kneecap, shin here. Maybe the foot could go a little bit lower, a little bit, yes, a little bit lower, easily. There. And then we have the thigh again. I'm checking on a vertical line. The thigh starts somewhere on a vertical line here, thigh beginning somewhere here, then you can come down, kneecap, shin, calf, and you have the foot here. And okay, long legs, but the body feels a little bit short. Feels a bit short, maybe it's not. And you have on a vertical line, you have the head coming to the shoulder here. Very interesting pose, this one. As I said, it's a bit unusual. It's a very good model standing like this. Hopefully for a few seconds to take the picture because it's very uncomfortable. And you have the shadow here. That's all in the shadow. And you have the shoulder here, which is on a horizontal line, goes to the chin, and upper arm, lower arm, and one of the, I guess it's index finger showing down. Shadow of the thigh. Then you have the hand which is holding the leg up, upper arm. You have the finger pointing it out. Other fingers are here. And then you have a little bit of a calf here. That this is the beautiful muscle here, and calf muscle, shin muscle. There. Now establish a warm but strong cast shadow of this leg. As the light is coming this way, we can see the light because the shadows are facing down there. Then the thigh is creating a big shadow here on the body. Maybe a bit more rounded like this. There you have it, and then you have the upper arm here. And I think the head is coming forward even more. That's the nose. Nose shadow, eyebrow, hair, and lip, ear. I wanted her to look a little bit more like a female. A little bit attention to the structure of the face, because it is not a portrait drawing, but we want some resemblance, or at least gender resemblance. Upper arm, lower arm. I think I've dropped this a little bit too low. I think it's here. Yeah, it feels more correct. Lifting up the hand here. Index finger again. Lower arm. Upper arm and shoulder. Dark tone of value, that's the elbow. Okay. And the shadow. That gives it kind of a three-dimensional feel to it. Now you can give that leg a little bit of a shadow, because it's not, although this leg, the whole leg is holding the weight of the whole body, so it's kind of a strain of the leg here. And then you have the foot, so I would give more attention to this foot, because this is the one which is holding or keeping the weight of the whole body. Give it some shadow here, and that shadow is extended there. Okay, and then kneecap, shin, and the foot itself. How about we give a general darker tone here, and then come with a putty rubber, lift some darks, some lights out here. That's the cast shadow of the head. Hair. Eyebrow, nose, lip, and the jaw. Chin, jaw, shadow here, and the shoulder kind of lowers, it just drops here because of the movement of her left hand side coming down here to hold or keep or lift the shin. Any of the kneecap, lighter tone on the kneecap, bit of a darker tone here, here on this area, because that's where you have the contrast of the thigh with the white dress. Now this rounded place here, it's the shoulder. Upper arm, lower arm, there have it. Okay. Let's give a general darker tone. And also this movement creates also movement on the foot. Give it a darker tone, the whole thing. It's a bit like moving up and down. And I can come back and reinvent or revisit all these areas, not reinvent, because they're there. I'm not inventing them, but bring the lights, highlights back. Kind of a darker tone of value here. Highlights. So now give it again a darker tone with a chamois. This area here, and bring back and forth now some lines to reinforce my idea of the leg, although it's not an idea, it's a fact that the leg is, but in the sense that to look the strain, it is strain to look, but to look that it is in strain. This leg here, the leg up here, which is again lifted up on a very interesting pose. Toes here, and we don't see the toes on this one. We know that they're there. Okay, now with the putty rubber, create some highlights here. Shoulder, knee cup, shin, up and foot, sorry, the whole shin and lower leg. Highlight fingers here, and the roundness of her shoulder here, and give it kind of a movement here with the putty rubber. It's not that it's not important, but it's because it's in the shadows. Actually, I'm deliberately choosing not to not to highlight with dark lines the whole arm, her right arm, anyway, because it's in the shadows here. So give it a darker tone, so it just pushes his back, the arm, and the white dress is pretty much the same tonal value as the background, so I'm not giving that also a darker line. So the darker lines could concentrate here. So you are emphasizing, the drawer is emphasizing where you're putting attention to. It's where the light meets the dark shadows, which is here. Light flooded from the studio to the model, from the studio to the model. Okay. There's also a new paper that I'm using here. So don't actually know I didn't know, but I can see now it's not the best of papers. It's very difficult to, it's not easy to get rid of the darks, which with charcoal, willow charcoal, should be very easy, but not with this paper. And the chin just absorbs a lot of charcoal, this paper. Not a good one. There we are. And maybe a bit, keep that line, lower that line, and keep, or get rid of this line that doesn't look correct, and here, yeah, to emphasize the foot more. I said give less importance to this arm, which is swinging at the back, and where the light meets the shadows here. Hands and the lower arm. Okay. Also, I'm trying to, because the paper is very absorbent, especially with the charcoal, it shouldn't be that absorbent. It's very difficult to get rid of those darks that I put on here. There's a triangular shape here on her thigh, and a thigh which is keeping the whole body weight. I can give it a little bit more of an attention here to this thigh. There. To her left thigh, and light here down on the shin. Get rid of this. A bit more of a, again, that line is in the shadows. I'm trying to not to be too descriptive. I'm trying deliberately, I'm losing that line. It's not as soft as that, but I'm deliberately losing it because I'm losing the line. Don't want to lose my mind, but just to lose the line here. And emphasize here, this one. Toes. And again, bring back this highlight of the thigh. Reflected light here on the bum. There. And that should be enough. And give it again a little bit of darker tone, so I can differentiate that dark tone from that, from the upper body, thigh from the upper body, and maybe come back here a little bit, not too much though here. There, just to give the indication of where her thigh is, her thigh there. No, there's no need to go any more detailed than that. Elbow, shoulder, chin, darker tone on the hair. Bring the dark tone of the hair here. Okay. Just a little bit of highlights here. And Again, it's where the light meets the shadow. And I've noticed that the shoulder, the line of the shoulder, the light on the shoulder, is a bit further away from the head. So probably here. On the vertical line, it's just there. So vertical line is here with the, okay, vertical line should be here. So that could be moved there easily. Yes, that's a mistake that I missed. So there's more distance between that sphere of the upper shoulder okay, yes, that makes more sense now. There. Just the hand is not, it's a bit difficult to identify. It's the fingers. This paper is not good at all. Not good quality paper. So fingers here. And upper arm a little bit lighter. And I'm going to make my own fingers here. So twist them to the left. It makes more sense of what I'm actually seeing there in the picture. There. More strain on the lower arm, not upper arm, lower arm. Okay, I think that's enough. Everything is there. Proportions are not too bad. Thigh, maybe that needs to be a little bit longer. The whole leg actually needs to be a little bit longer. Or especially the thigh. No, it's not the leg. It's that distance here. Shoulder to the hip needs to be lifted up a little bit more. There, that needs to be lifted up. And that will make the foot longer. There. So shorter shoulder to the hip, and that will make the leg longer. There are solutions to the problems. As I saw, that was short from here to the kneecap. And we need to identify what's going wrong there. And that will mean that I can lift up a little bit here, the thigh, make the thigh wider here, there, from that line to this. But the paper just gets tired very quickly. It just destroys the darks. It's an unforgiving paper. Okay, there, that's better. Little bit of reflected light down here. Softer this arm, as I said. That's the arm that we don't see, or it's in the shadows. And I can get rid even of that line here. Just bring the thigh higher and soften all the other lines. Okay. The darks here on the background are not too bad. It needs some darks. Okay. Some softer lines, softer darks here, softer. There. And then come with the mono zero. Not good paper. Not a good paper. Sometimes it's easy to blame the tools. But I think this one deserves to be blamed. There. Okay. Get those dark lines a little bit less dark. There. All right. See you on the next one.